Creole. How and why? We are now going to do a presentation about the differences between Pidgin and Creole and how they have developed in different countries.
Pidgin is a simplified language which arises when speakers of different languages need a common means of communication, a lingua franca. Pidgins are not fully fledged languages and have no native speakers. Sometimes pidgins are instead learned as a second language. Originally, the word pidgin was used to describe Chinese pidgin English, but was later generalized to refer to any pidgin. Pidgin may also be used as a specific name for local pigeons. For example, the name Pisin comes from the English word talk pigeon. It is often decided that pidgins become creole languages when a generation whose parents speak pidgin to each other teach it to their children as their first language. Creoles can then replace the existing mix of languages to become the native language of a community, such as Creole in Sierra Leone and Pisin in Papua New Guinea. However, not all pidgins become creole languages. A pidgin may disappear before this phase would occur. Creole is a stable language that originates from a pidgin. The term Creole was originally applied to people born in the colonies to distinguish them from the upper-class immigrants. Because of the generally low status of the Creole peoples in the eyes of the colonial powers, Creole languages have generally been regarded as the rudimentary dialects of one of their parents' languages. This is the reason why Creole has come to be used in opposition to language rather than a qualifier for it. The grammar of Pidgin and Creole is reduced. It has a limited vocabulary, a simplified grammar. It often has aspect instead of tense, and the language is as simple as it can be. This map explains where in the world Pidgin and Creole has developed. Now we're going to take a closer look at the Caribbean Creole in Jamaica and the Creole in Papua New Guinea.
Jamaican Patois is like any other Creole, the result of contacts between many different ethnic, linguistic and social groups. It is called Jamaican Creole by linguists, and is not to be confused with Jamaican English or with the Rastafari use of English, that is more a different dialect and accent of English. This language developed during the 17th century when slaves from West and Central Africa were brought to this Caribbean island by European colonizers. They had to learn the vernacular and dialectal forms of English, for example those of Scotland and Ireland. Jamaican Creole is an English African-based language which has the majority of its roots in English. Essential words which people could not find an English name for example things like plants and animals, were taken from a variety of West African languages. Over 4 million people speak Jamaican Creole. Most of these people live in Jamaica, but there are also many speakers in significant Jamaican-speaking communities outside Jamaica, for example in parts of US, Canada, Brazil, Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua and the UK. Jamaican Creole is used mainly as a spoken language, and Standard English is used for most of the writing in Jamaica. A rich body of literature has developed in Jamaican Patois. Even though Patois and Standard English are quite similar, it could be hard for a native speaker of a non-Caribbean English dialect to understand Patois, especially if the Jamaican speaker has a heavy accent and uses the many idioms that are common in the Jamaican language. The rhythm and beauty of the Jamaican Creole has however not gone unnoticed. It has been used as a medium of expressions in literature, in poems, stories and plays. Patois is also used in the composition of lyrics of the popular reggae music. Linguists says that Bob Marley sometimes were using Patois in his famous songs.
One example of another creole is Pisin, which is spoken in Papua New Guinea. Tok means word or speech, and Pisin means pigeon. Pisin is the official language of Papua New Guinea, and about 1 million people have it as a first language, and it is used by 5 to 6 million people. When the Europeans came to the Melanesia in the early 1800s, they discovered that there were too many languages spoken for them to learn. In other areas they had tried to learn the foreign language to use when trading, but here they used their own language, English, in a simplified way together with mimes. Later, when the Melanesians were recruited to the plantations in Samoan Islands, they still spoke many different languages, but they also had a little understanding of English. With this simplified English that they had learned together with their own languages, they developed an early Melanesian pidgin that everyone could understand. When the workers were sent home, they brought this pidgin with them, and it spread all over the country. Pisin was the pidgin of Papua New Guinea, and as it became more and more accepted, the people started using it in religion, newspaper, and radio broadcasting. It became the lingua franca that Papua New Guinea never had. Papua New Guinea became independent in 1975, and Pisin was declared as one of the important languages of the country, together with English and Pidgin. Pisin is still used in radio and TV broadcasting and in newspapers. The education system has also changed, so that for the first 3 years of elementary school, the children can choose to learn Pisin, and many has. But there is a debate going on if Pisin and Melanesian pidgins can be called creole. Those who call it creole refers to the thousands of native speakers and the grammatical features that are found in typical creoles. Those who call it pidgin refers to the fact that more than 90% of the speakers have a different native language.
A pidgin is a language which has no native speakers. It grows up among people who do not share a common language, but who wants to communicate with each other. A creole is a pidgin which has become the mother tongue of a community and therefore has native speakers.